Hi, I'm Kitty and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to teach you all about macros, what they are, why and when you should track them, and if you stay right to the end, I'm going to show you how you can calculate your own personalized starting macro targets. First of all, we need to understand what is a macro and what does it stand for. Macronutrients are the nutrients your body needs in large amounts to function properly. They provide the body with energy, which is measured in calories, and serve numerous other functions related to growth, health, and metabolism. All foods contain one or more of these three macronutrients. First of all, you've got carbohydrates, which are your body's primary energy source. They're broken down into glucose, which can be used immediately for energy, or stored in the liver and muscles as glycogen, which can be used later. Examples are potatoes, white rice, and fruit. Carbohydrates contain 4 calories per gram. Then there are proteins. Proteins are essential for growth and repair, as well as the maintenance of good health. They can also serve as an energy source. Proteins are made up of amino acids, some of which the body can't produce on its own. Examples are steak, fish, and eggs. Proteins contain 4 calories per gram. And lastly, there are fats. Fats are a concentrated energy source. They're necessary for the absorption of certain nutrients like vitamin A, D, E, and K, hormone production, and the protection of organs. There are several types of fats: monounsaturated, polyunsaturated, and saturated fats, which are found in various foods. Examples are butter, coconut oil, and avocado. Fats contain 9 calories per gram. So we're going to take these macronutrients and figure out, based on our calorie intake, what percentage of macronutrients we're going to eat to give us optimal results for either body recomposition, fat loss, or weight gain or muscle gain. So how do we count macros? It's actually pretty easy, but first you need to understand how to read a nutrition label. So when it comes to a nutrition label and you're counting macros, there's 3 main things you want to focus on. Number 1 is protein. So if you go to the label and just look for total protein, that's going to give you the amount of protein that's in the food. Then secondly, you've got total carbohydrates. So if again you go to the label and look for total carbohydrates, that's going to give you the total amount of carbohydrates in that food. And lastly, there's fat. So you just simply go to the total fat line and that will give you the amount of fat in that food. So today I'm going to have 3 of these corn tortillas for my lunch. So I'm going to go into my food tracker. I'm using my Fitness Pal. I'll go into the food diary and then hit add food. Because this is a packaged food, I can actually scan the barcode. So you simply scan the barcode like that, and then the tortillas will come up. So you just need to change the serving size to 1 tortilla, and then I'm going to have 3. So I add 3 and hit add, and that will add it to my food diary. As you can see, 3 tortillas has 171 calories, 31.5 grams of protein, 2.1 grams of fat, and 4.1 grams of protein. Now, if you want to record something that doesn't come from a packet, say you've got a piece of fruit or a piece of fish, the first thing you're going to need is a set of kitchen scales. Now, any kitchen scales will do. I just got a cheap set from my local Harvey Norman. So today I'm going to use some grapes as an example. So first of all, you want to turn on the scales and just make sure that they're in the right unit. So I'm using grams. Then I'm going to take a bowl and I'm going to place it on the scales. Now I'm going to hit tar, which will basically zero out the scales. Then I'm going to add my grapes. So today I'm going to have 200 grams of grapes. So now I'm going to go to my food tracker. I'm going to open up the food diary. I'm going to hit add food. I'm going to type in grapes, and then enter. And then I'm going to use the option at the top which has the green tick, so that means it's been certified by a nutritionist and should have the right macronutrient values. So I'm just going to click on it and I'm going to change the serving size to 1 gram, and then I'm going to add in 200. Now, as you can see, 200 grams of grapes has 138 calories, 36.2 grams of carbs, 0.3 grams of fat, and 1.4 grams of protein. Now I'm just going to hit tick, and that has been added to my food diary, and there you go, you're counting macros. Now, macro counting isn't that difficult once you understand what a protein, carb, and fat is. I don't recommend tracking on the fly and spending all day entering foods into MyFitnessPal or a food tracker. That's going to be extremely stressful and you're probably not going to hit your macro targets by the end of the day. Something that I do myself and teach all my clients is to spend some time at the start of the week doing up a meal plan and actually prepping out some food for the oncoming week. This means you're going to have delicious food ready to go and you won't have to stress about trying to balance your macros by the end of the day. And how many times have you not had food prepared and then skipped meals and got to the end of the day and ended up binge eating? Doing it this way will also reduce decision fatigue and make it much easier to be consistent with your nutrition and reach your body and health goals. If you want to learn more on how to count and track macros, my 7-day Eat More, Train Less, Get Results challenge is the perfect resource. I'll pop a link in the notes below. So the last thing I'm going to walk you through is how to calculate your starting macronutrient targets. I'm going to give you some ranges to work in because every woman's body is different and every woman has different preferences in terms of the exact amount of fat, carbs and foods that they want to eat. Some will do better at the lower end of the ranges, some will do better at the higher end of the ranges. The key is to set the targets, eat consistently, hit them, and then measure what's happening. So you can look at things like weight, measurements, body composition change, and other biofeedback markers like sleep, digestion, cycle, energy, mood, etc. Now for the fun part, determining your macro targets. To start with, I would recommend using one of the free online calorie calculators. We need to determine your maintenance calories, which is going to be based on your weight, your height, your sex, your age, and your activity levels. Maintenance is the amount of calories you need each day to maintain your body weight. I'm using calculator.net. I'll pop the link below in the notes. First of all, you're going to choose your units. I'm in Australia, so I'm using metric. Then I enter my age, my weight, my height, my sex, and my activity levels. I train 3 days a week, I walk every day, and I also do 1 recovery session per week. So I'm going to choose the very active option for my activity levels. Then you just hit calculate, and you can see it's calculated my maintenance calories at 2,426 calories per day. Once you have the calories as a starting guide, you can then work out your protein, carbs, and fat. Calories are a direct calculation of the amount of protein, carbs, and fat you consume, with 1 gram of protein and carbs equaling 4 calories, and 1 gram of fat equaling 9 calories. I'm going to assume here that your goal is fat loss. In this scenario, a good starting range for your protein is 1.8 to 2.2 grams per kilo of your goal body weight. So let's say you're 80 kilos and your goal body weight is 67 kilos. Your protein range would be 67 times 1.8, which equals 120.6 grams of protein, to 67 times 2.2 grams, which equals 147.4 grams of protein. If you enjoy eating more protein, eat at the higher end. If you enjoy eating less protein, eat at the lower end. For this example, I'm going to choose 140 grams per day. Now you can set your carbs and fat, and a good range for fat is 20 to 30% of your total calories. So you can go into your food tracker, select 140 grams as your protein target, and then adjust your fat and your carbs up or down to meet those ranges and equal the total calories. So for example, if I want my carbs to be 50% of my total calories, then all I need to do is take my maintenance calories and divide it by 2. So that's 2,426 divided by 2, which is 1,213 calories. Remembering that 1 gram of carbs equals 4 calories, you then just simply divide that number by 4. So that's 1,213 divided by 4, which equals just over 303 grams of carbohydrates. Then I could make up the rest of my calories in fat. So 460 calories is coming from protein, 1,213 calories is coming from carbohydrates, so that equals 1,673 total calories. So I can just subtract that from my maintenance calories to get the remaining calories that I will use for fat. So 2,426 minus 1,713 gives me a remainder of 753 calories. So then I divide that by 9. So just remember, 1 gram of fat equals 9 calories, and that gives me 72 grams of fat. So my maintenance calories in this example would be 2,423 calories, 140 grams of protein, 303 grams of carbs, and 72 grams of fat. It doesn't need to be exact. You just want to get it as close to these numbers as possible. Sometimes when you're doing the calculations, it might be 303.3. So just adjust it up or down to get close to those maintenance calories. Just remember that this is a starting point. And some of you might enjoy higher carbs, lower fat, lower carbs, higher fat. So it's really important to test it accurately for 2 weeks to get your true maintenance calories. So how do you test it for 2 weeks? So once you've set it up in your food tracker, you want to spend some time prepping out a meal plan and then doing some food prep, and then you want to eat that food for 2 weeks and measure your weight every single day. So I like to do it first thing in the morning after I've gone to the bathroom. So record it somewhere and then take the average at the end of the week, then do the same thing in the second week. And what you want to do is compare the weights from week 1, the average weight, to week 2 average weight. So if your weight stays the same or it's plus or minus up to 300 grams, that's your maintenance calories. If your weight increases by 500 grams or more, that means you're eating in a calorie surplus. If your weight drops by 500 grams or more, that means you're eating in a calorie deficit. So once you've established this, you can then calculate your new macro targets based on your specific goal. Let's say you want to lose body fat. A good place to start is a 10% reduction in your maintenance calories. Using the previous example, a 10% deficit would bring my calories down from 2,423 to 2,183 calories per day. So what you want to do is keep your protein targets the same and then adjust your carbs and fat down to meet those new calorie requirements. If your goal is body recomposition, so that means your weight stays relatively the same, but you're increasing muscle mass and losing body fat, you want to keep your calories and macros at maintenance. If your goal is to gain weight or gain muscle, you want to add 5% to your maintenance calories and eat in a small surplus. Please keep in mind that this is just a guide and a rough start to put you as the individual in the ballpark of where to start. It's only going to be relevant for 2 weeks because it's likely that adjustments will need to be made depending on how your body responds. Just remember, nutrition adherence, training performance, activity or NEAT levels, sleep and stress factors all play roles, and you as an individual need to be assessed accordingly. This is how it's done in our coaching program. The first 2 weeks are just an assessment for us to make objective decisions based on the data you provide us. The plan that gets you from A to B is unlikely to get you from B to C, C to D, and so on and so forth. If this video has been helpful for you, please give it a like and comment below with what you found to be most helpful. And don't forget to subscribe because each week I'm going to release a brand new video. You can also head to our website, www.newstrength.com.au and subscribe to my mailing list. I'll send you my 5 simple steps to getting started, which includes 5 super simple things you can do today to help you get closer to your body and health goals.